Today we have a review of 3 newest and cheapest snowmobiles in the world. Let's go! Hi there, as usual it's me, just a voiceover. You're watching Review Machines, and today we start new winter season. Let me know please if you already have snow, as we do. And I think it's high time to open a sledding season, isn't it? And today we have quite an interesting snowmobiles. They are called Artic Long and Shihan, and as I said, they are probably the cheapest new snowmobiles in the world. It will be interesting to see how they are built and test them. So take your seats and get comfortable, my friends, it's time to begin. Let's go! As a matter of fact, all 3 models have the similar construction, with some interesting differences. Despite they are cheap machines, we see here quite a peculiar design, so I can't say they are totally dull. It's a matter of taste, but to my mind, they look pleasant, reserved and neatly. Let's look closer at each machine, and we start with Artic Long looks. Let's find out if it is really luxurious. In fact, looks in the title means that we have slightly more options here. The length of the sled is 2900 mm, the width is 1100 mm. The total weight is 235 kilos. The hood is made of robust plastic. Under the hood we see 2 cylinders, 680cc engine, launching, working with CVT. The exhaust is made rather neatly. Here we see, so to speak, a dashboard. It's simple, but there are handle and throttle heaters. There is both electric and manual starter. The fuel tank is 28 liters capacity, it's under the seat. The seat is suitable for 2 people, and finally the headlamp is rather powerful. The chassis is so simple. All the rollers have the spring suspension. The length of the track is 3333 mm, the width is 500 mm. At the front we see the leaf suspension. And let's try to start the engine and have a ride. Now we are going to make the first little ride, to get the very first impressions of this sled. Well, it's rather easy to handle the machine, despite the construction is primitive. It's rather comfortable. The seat is large and soft enough. 2 cylinders motor is not insane, but for now it feels sufficient. The speed we will test a bit later. I like the handle heaters, but the windshield is not protecting from the wind properly. Then the handlebar is rather low to my height, so it's not comfy to ride standing on the sled. Well, now let's look at the next model. This one is called simply Artic. It's a bit shorter. Its length is 2750 mm. Despite it's shorter, we still can fit here together with the passenger. Under the seat we have a spacious glove box. The sled is equipped with 1-cylinder 20 HP engine. As usually there is a CVT transmission. The front leaf suspension is the same, and the rear is slightly different. We see here 2 shock absorbers, and the suspension has more travel, so the sled should be more comfortable. The chain is covered with steel. The other details are the same as on the previous model, but let's start the engine. All the sleds have electric starter, but the manual one is also useful. Here the lever to switch the reverse. Well, let's go. Yes, it's possible to ride here together with a passenger, but frankly speaking, this sled goes much better only with one rider. It goes pretty well. The performance is approximately the same as on the previous model, despite here we have only one cylinder engine, 20 HP. As I said, we would test the maximum speed later. And now few words about the suspension. This design of suspension feels much better than previous. It's much softer and more comfortable. But as we can remember, we have one more sled to review. This sled has a double track and only one front ski. As a matter of fact, such a design was taken from old snowmobiles, but even today it's still relevant. The seat fits 2 people, and 20 liters fuel tank is under the seat. This sled is equipped with 2 cylinders 29 HP power engine Lifan. The steering gear is the simplest and reliable. Here we have a real dashboard with a speedometer. There is a powerful 50 watts headlamp. The most interesting feature here that there is a double track with a width 380 mm each. As to the suspension, it's the same as on the first model. Very simple, but not so comfortable. Well, let's start the engine and have a ride. From the very beginning it's clear, this sled significantly differs from other 2 models. It's very stable due to the double wide tracks, and it's much easier to handle it. Besides, again, due to the double track, it's more capable in deep snow. For all that, there are some drawbacks of such design of tracks. First of all, it's not very maneuverable. The turning radius here is much more than on the other 2 sleds. But now I think it's high time to make some interesting tests. First of all, let's have some ride on these huge snowy fields and look for the places with the deepest snow. In general, it's clear that these sleds are the simplest machines, even primitive ones. Do not expect them to provide insane performance for you. But as utility vehicles, they may be quite useful, taking into account their prices. Besides, it's very easy to repair these machines, and they are rather reliable, again due to the simplest design. By the way, each sled can be equipped with various engines from 17 to 29 HP. A customer can choose the brand of the engine. Now let's do some practice and firstly check the maximum speed. The first one is Artic Long Loops. Let's go! We should take into account that it's new, and after some time it should be faster. But now the maximum speed here is 50 km per hour. The next one is yellow 20 HP Artic. It has a smaller engine, so it's not so fast. The maximum speed is only 42 km per hour. And finally Shihan with 29 HP engine. Despite it's heavier and has a double track, it's the fastest, with a result 51 km per hour. Now you can see the depth of the snow on the field. It's not a hard task for all the sleds. They can go in such conditions without any difficulties. Especially a double-tracked snowmobile shows impressive capabilities in deep snow. It's like a real tracked ATV. Here we are trying to climb a hill. With only one rider, all the sleds get over the hill. But let's try to climb on it with a passenger. Well, like a snap. So let's try with 3 people. It's much harder to handle with a sled, so we failed this time. And let's try a double-track sled with 3 people. Well done, let's move on. As we already know, all the sleds have the simplest design. Their suspension is not very comfortable, but it's simple and reliable. Besides, it doesn't get clogged with wet snow. Nevertheless, I should say, if you are looking for a comfy sled that can provide you fun and emotions, these machines are not suitable for you, I think. Frankly speaking, their performance is quite dull. But as cheap utility vehicles, they can be considered as a good variant. And now it's time to speak about the prices. The red Artic costs about $3,500. The yellow one is about $4,000. And finally, double-tracked sled costs about $4,500. Well, let's call today, my friends. Thanks for having a ride with us. Please post your comments, what you think of these sleds. Consider subscribing the channel if you like this video. Stay with us, there will be many more interesting materials here. Goodbye.